This is an interesting story that you write about because the CEO is actually quitting among some probe into his personal conduct. Tell us what's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, yesterday morning when they announced that the CEO was quote unquote leaving under a mutual agreement, obviously most of us who cover Best Buy and have been following this story thought it was due to performance. Because this is a company that for about 18 months now has really been struggling, has been having a hard time adjusting its big box formula, which was so successful for so many years, to the fact that Amazon.com has become an increasingly tough competitor, and the Apple stores have really carved out a niche for themselves as kind of the go-to place for the hottest gadgets. So we thought it was performance-based, and then lo and behold, in the afternoon, the company essentially trotted out a whole different storyline and said that this resignation was the result of a probe into Brian Dunn's quote-unquote personal conduct.
And do we have any idea at this point what that may be?
Yeah, it's the million-dollar question. They have released almost zero information. There, as you can imagine, are a lot of rumors swirling about what this is really about. We're going to find out, is the short answer. I'm sure this is going to come out, but right now they have been extremely tight-lipped and really has said almost nothing other than what they're legally required to say.
Miguel, it's Evan. I don't mean to brush aside the concerns or the issues around his personal conduct, but for Best Buy as a company, and in terms of the concerns of the shareholders, their principal concern has to be whether or not the formula, the big box formula Best Buy has had, whether over the next 10 or 15 years that is a sustainable formula, whether or not you have a new CEO or whoever that new CEO is. I mean, that's really why the stock has been shellacked over the past year, has to do with that more than the issue around his personal conduct.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would certainly agree that the big box model has not been working for Best Buy. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, Brian Dunn announced a whole plan to kind of gradually move the company away from the big boxes. It's hard to do because this is a company that has 1,100 big box stores. And really, that's been their moneymaker, right? So it's like asking a company to move away from its winning formula. But this certainly seems to complicate matters. I mean, they already had a handful of problems related to their business model, and now they have, on top of that, a leadership crisis. This is a company that's only had 3 CEOs in its entire history, and they've all been insiders, all been lifers with the company, and now suddenly, it's thrown into turmoil.
And Miguel, you put in your story that the successor is expected to continue that plan that Mr. Dunn had put in place just weeks ago, including closing about 50 of the stores, laying off over 400 workers, as they kind of try to combat this idea, the showrooming, where customers go into Best Buy to look at the products and then end up buying them cheaper online somewhere. Is that plan still going to be in place with that new successor coming in, and really how can they combat that idea that people want to see the product, touch it in the store, but yet will shop online with their apps to find the best price out there?
Yeah, well, right now that the company is saying that they're going to continue the plan. We'll have to see what another CEO essentially determines when they come in and assess the situation. How can they combat showrooming? Again, it's a great question. I think it's an issue really a problem for a lot of store retailers right now, but Best Buy is kind of a canary in the coal mine, as I have said before, due to the nature of what they sell. They sell, high-priced electronics, and those are items that people are very likely to comparison price online because you can do so, and because the difference in price can be significant enough to make it worthwhile. I think retailers are still trying to figure out, what their tools are going to be to combat showrooming. There's some ideas out there, but it's a very difficult challenge, and I don't know really ultimately that there's anything you can do other than match prices,
Right. All right, Miguel, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And of course, everybody can stay tuned to WSJ.com to follow this story, as we probably will be learning more about the probe.
Happens,
the leadership crisis.
A few CEOs every year. Every year, you can usually bet on it, are going to get caught up in something. Mm-hmm. And, we remain to be seen. But, you should always beware. I don't know what Dunn's reputation was. You always should beware the CEO that's lauded as the hero. Mark Hurd, Mark Hurd, the greatest CEO for HP, blah, blah, blah,
well, Brian
blah.
Dunn, actually, he started as a store clerk. He never went to college, worked his way up, worked for another company, worked his way up in that company, and became CEO.